It was 3:07 a.m. when the woman awoke, not because of a sound, but because of a presence. Something had entered the room. She couldn't see it, but she could feel it, like the weight of a stair pressing against her soul. There was no noise, no breeze, no movement. And yet, she was no longer alone. She remembered a shape, tall, impossibly thin, standing motionless near the edge of her bed. By morning, it was gone. But she was not the same. This is just one of thousands of stories I've collected over the years. And it's not an isolated case. My name is Mr. W. For over 2 decades, I've investigated strange occurrences, unexplained lights in the sky, entities seen at the edges of sleep, vanishing people, haunted locations. Encounters that blur the line between reality and something else. The stories vary in form, but their core patterns remain disturbingly similar. And through it all, one question continues to echo louder than any other: what if all of this is connected? Tonight, we begin with a theory. One that challenges not just what we believe about aliens or spirits, but about the very nature of reality itself. It's called the Interdimensional Hypothesis. And it suggests that the so-called supernatural might not be above nature, but rather, beyond the narrow slice of it we can perceive. The theory gained traction in the 1970s, though its roots go deeper. One of its early champions was Jacques Vallée, a computer scientist and astronomer who initially worked with J. Allen Hynek during the U.S. government's UFO investigations. Vallée noticed something odd: the UFO phenomenon didn't behave like a simple extraterrestrial visitation. It wasn't just about craft from distant planets, it seemed weirder, more elusive, and deeply symbolic. The beings reported in these cases didn't just fly across space. They appeared suddenly. They altered time. They invaded dreams. Vallée proposed that UFOs might be a kind of control system, an interface between humans and a deeper, hidden reality. These weren't visitors from another planet, but from another dimension. John Keel, author of The Mothman Prophecies, took it even further. He called them ultraterrestrials, entities that have been interacting with humanity for centuries, wearing different masks to suit the culture of the time. In ancient days, they were gods or demons. In the Middle Ages, fairies or spirits. In the modern age, they appear as aliens in metallic suits. Keel believed that these beings were part of a deeper, non-human intelligence, one that uses illusion, manipulation, and psychological tricks to interact with us. Their appearances are shaped as much by our expectations as by their true nature. Carl Jung, the famous Swiss psychiatrist, also weighed in. In 1959, he wrote a book titled Flying Saucers, a modern myth of things seen in the skies. To Jung, UFOs represented a collective projection of humanity's unconscious. But he also admitted, perhaps reluctantly, that some of the data pointed toward a physical reality. A shared space where mind and matter converge. Let's go back to December 26, 1985. Author Whitley Strieber is staying with his family in a secluded cabin in upstate New York. That night, he experiences what he initially believes is a dream, or a nightmare. Small, gray-skinned figures surround his bed. One of them, taller than the rest, has large black eyes and exudes a strange energy, like both predator and surgeon. Strieber is floated through the air, paralyzed, and subjected to medical procedures inside a metallic room. When he awakes, he's confused, frightened, and forever changed. His memories return in fragments over the following weeks. The book he writes, Communion, becomes a bestseller, and one of the most widely discussed abduction accounts in history. But what makes Strieber's case so important to our theory isn't just what happened, it's how it happened. The beings appeared inside his home, without physical entry. Time distorted. The experiences were as much psychic as they were physical. Strieber himself would later explore the idea that these visitors weren't extraterrestrial at all, but something more, ancient. Something native to a dimension that intersects with ours. Another example, 1977, Enfield, England. A small council house becomes the center of one of the most publicized hauntings in history. The Hodgson family reports furniture moving by itself, disembodied voices, and a young girl levitating in front of witnesses. Paranormal investigators flood the home. But here's the strange part, some researchers began to suspect that the force behind it all wasn't a dead human, but something pretending to be. Something feeding off attention, chaos, and fear. When asked who he was, the entity calling itself Bill gave bizarre, circular answers. And then, silence. As if it had vanished, or shifted its focus elsewhere. 1946, Aleister Crowley, the infamous occultist, conducts a ritual known as the Amelantra working. He claims to make contact with a being named Lamb, a pale, thin-headed figure with enormous black eyes. The drawing Crowley made of Lamb bears an uncanny resemblance to what we now call greys. Years later, Crowley's associate, Jack Parsons, an early rocket scientist, would conduct the Babylon working, another ritual aimed at contacting interdimensional intelligences. The line between magic, alien contact, and psychological manipulation becomes disturbingly thin. Different times. Different symbols. But similar effects. Entities entering our world briefly. Manipulating human perception. Leaving behind confusion, fear, and obsession. So what are they? Are they angels? Demons? Visitors from Zeta Reticuli? Or something even stranger? What if all of these labels are just masks? Simplified images we project onto something too alien to comprehend? The interdimensional hypothesis suggests that these entities originate from a realm that coexists with ours, but operates under different laws. A place where thought may shape matter. Where time is fluid. Where intent is power. Perhaps these beings have always been here. Watching. Waiting. Appearing only when certain conditions are met, emotional states, altered consciousness, ritual, or trauma. Some encounters occur in dreams. Others during near-death experiences. Some while wide awake. But all carry the same unsettling fingerprint, a sense that reality is not what we thought. This is just the beginning. Each video, I'll bring you another case. Another clue. Another glimpse through the crack in the veil. Because I believe, no matter how strange it sounds, these beings are real. And they've always been here. Not from another star, but from another layer of existence. Watching. Waiting. Whispering. If you, too, seek the truth, subscribe to Investigations of the Unknown. I'm Mr. W, and our journey has only just begun.